Alright, it's time to talk about Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I'm shooting this out of order because I actually just shot the video for Aquaman, and I also didn't sleep last night, and the lighting's really bad in here, and I don't have notes at all, no script, no video essay, just a minifig customizer who wants to talk about a really great animated Spider-Man film. However, I was so unexpectedly blown away by Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse when it was first announced in 2016. I really was just expecting a cheap discount animated Miles Morales movie that no one wanted, that no one asked for. We just had Spider-Man finally make his way into the MCU with Civil War in 2016, and I was like, why aren't we focusing solely on that? What is the point of this? And I am so happy to have been so wrong. Fast forward a year when the first trailer dropped, I think 10 to 11 months ago, however long that was. The teaser definitely piqued my interest. I was interested in the animated style, and I did, like I said, I didn't sleep last night. I was definitely interested in the animation style. To put it in context, how little I was looking forward to this movie. It was Thursday, sitting on my computer at 7:15. I get an email, Google Calendar notification, and it says, Spider-Verse showing 5:30. I was like, oh. I had bought tickets and forgot, had to get them exchanged, and I had to run over there with a friend to make sure I didn't waste the money and I actually got to see the film. And that's simply because even the second trailer didn't really grab me. It looked interesting. I knew I was looking forward to it in the back of my mind that I was going to go see it, but never really fully anticipating it. And so actually there was a plus side to that because I wound up forgetting a lot of the basic story beats that were kind of mentioned throughout the trailers. So a lot of it wound up being a new surprise for me yet again. So I guess there was a positive side to it, bit of a silver lining there, and it all worked out. But cutting it really quick here, trailer spoilers are coming in for anybody that wants to go in completely blind, so you've been warned. The film itself, the cast, were just all so incredible. Shameik Moore as Miles, Jake Johnson as Peter B. Parker, the alternate reality version of Peter Parker, who's been Spider-Man for 20 years and has pretty much given up because of circumstances that have gone down in his life. Because of course the entire movie focuses on the multiverse theory and different web slingers coming in from different realities. So one thing that this version of Peter Parker really brought to the movie that I loved, that is definitely worth mentioning quick, is just a self-awareness of Spider-Man. The directors know that you know his story, and they highlight the best parts of it without retreading those areas, and I love it, and especially in sequences with Peter B. Parker, who basically just makes everything about being Spider-Man out to be so predictable now that he's been doing it for 20 years in his reality, and it makes for some really funny moments. You also had Spider-Gwen, which was really great, voiced by Haley Steinfeld. She did an amazing job as well. They all did. I mean, Nicolas Cage, of course, as Spider-Man Noir, he was really good and definitely had some really good moments. And of course, he is the 1930s Spider-Man because in his reality, he got bitten by the radioactive spider during the Great Depression, I think. And it's pretty dark and brooding with him. And then also, you know, what I really loved about all this is just how the film truly does take advantage of the multiverse theory and that it is infinite. It goes a little wonky and a little bit nuts, but you know, you just take into context the idea that the multiverse is infinite and there are infinite versions of you and me and the people we know, and the combinations of you know, how things in our lives play out, or when we're born, or you know, what time period we exist in, all those different things. And that in some alternate reality there exists Peni Parker, who is a web slinger in Japan with her spider mech in the year 3000 something. She comes through. You've got Spider Pig, Spider Ham, which was definitely ridiculous but also really fun. I loved him, and just the biggest takeaway from Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is it's really tough to recap an entire movie like this in a short and brief video where I, again, was not prepared, but the amount of passion put into this movie is insane. It is on the same level as the Lego movie, and of course, sure enough, Phil Lord and Chris Miller produced Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, who of course were the directors of the Lego movie, and there were 3 actual directors for this, and they all did a phenomenal job. The entire cast and crew, all the animators, just really designing this entire film as being just one giant celebration of Spider-Man's legacy. So if you don't want to stick around really for the rest of this, if you made it this far, first of all, thank you. But if there's one thing I want you to take away from this video, is just make sure you find the time this holiday season to go and check out Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, because it is absolutely incredible. I know it's really busy with, you know, this movie and then how amazing Aquaman wound up being. I just saw that, and Bumblebee also, but definitely make sure you check out Spider-Verse, because this is just a phenomenal film with so much passion put into it, and just so many references to so many iterations of Spider-Man across all the decades that he has existed. There is something in this movie for everyone. There is a message in this movie for everyone, and that message being the inspirational message that anyone can wear the mask. And I love that, and it's conveyed so well throughout this movie. And I think a lot of movies struggle with that, not really being able to fully and properly convey the message behind it. That is not an issue with Spider-Verse. It is an emotional film, and seamlessly transitions from the comedy to those emotional moments where you really connect with the characters on such a great level that I really was not expecting. I mean, all the scenes between Miles and his dad, all the scenes between Miles and his uncle especially, and when he's trying to learn things from Peter B. Parker, who's just so reluctant to mentor him at all because he feels as though he's failed, and as though becoming a web-slinging vigilante just isn't worth it at all after 20 years of doing it, and really ending up on the other side, not where he ever had hoped to be. Just makes for some really fantastic interplay between each of the characters as they navigate the movie. It's really great. To be honest with you, I felt more connected to the characters and the cast of this movie than I did for the Avengers in Infinity War, and that's coming from the guy who had been looking forward to Infinity War and wound up loving it after 4 years, and it takes a lot to push me to the brink of an emotional release, and Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse definitely got me there. I was really invested in the movie, way more so than I was expecting. I just never expected this movie to be this great. One thing I really have to touch on is the animation itself. Of course, in a lot of ways, the animation is game-changing here. The entire animation team over at Sony and everybody that worked on this absolutely deserve all the awards coming their way, and if they don't come, who cares? Every shot looks like a high-quality comic, though, with so many unique textures and things like yellow thought bubbles appearing when the characters are keeping something to themselves in their head, or a ton of the letter A following Miles down the side of a building as he falls, and so many little details like that taken straight out of a comic, thrown in all throughout the movie to enhance each scene, and plus the colors are just perfect and vibrant all the way through. And there's so much more that I could talk about, so much great stuff all spread throughout the entire movie that I absolutely loved. All the chemistry between each individual character as they bounce off each other, as you get to know them in this crazy situation that they all find themselves in throughout the film. And I think if there's anything I had to really nitpick, it would probably be Wilson Fisk. While his motivations were actually pretty surprising, I found his character model to just be really distracting. While I understand it was a stylistic choice, he just always looked ridiculous and definitely pulled me out of most scenes that he was in. Otherwise, it was a really cool portrayal of him, and I think if I had to give Spider-Verse a rating, I would probably go as high as an 8.5 out of 10. There's so much to love for everybody. It is absolutely a film you do not want to rob yourself of, so make sure you go check out Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. It is an experience, like I said, that is not worth missing on the big screen especially. But that's it. Just wanted to kind of touch on this really briefly, and I'm not making figures for Into the Spider-Verse as much as I would like to. I just don't see the time to paint that much webbing appearing on the roster anytime soon. Now, you do already plan on doing the PS4 Advanced suit, so there will be a new Spider-Man figure, just can't do that many web slingers in the near future. Maybe sometime next year if the opportunity arises. In the meantime, though, I will be reviewing the Spider Crawler. I already reviewed the Venom Mech versus Venom. The Spider Mech versus Venom, and I picked up the Spider Crawler because it honestly just looks like a really cool set, so it should be pretty great. Again, thank you so much for sticking around for this whole video. I know this is not usually my thing, but I think maybe I'd like it to be, and you guys can let me know what you think down in the comments if you'd like to see more videos like this where I just kind of discuss my brief, general, non-spoilery thoughts on the movies that I love or sometimes don't love. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. I am open to any suggestions because this stuff means a lot to me, more so than I think you see, because I've always been known to be the guy who celebrates the movies, never really talking about them. It's always just been something that I usually keep over on my second channel, which I rarely use, or over on social media. So anyway, I'm rambling, keeping you guys too long. I apologize for that. I'm gonna go, and I'll catch you next time. All right, bye-bye.